It all began during what was supposed to be just another fiery yet civil debate on a primetime news panel. Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett and commentator Candace Owens were invited to speak on pressing political matters, but within minutes of the cameras rolling, viewers could tell this wasn't going to be a typical segment. From the outset, tensions simmered beneath the surface, with pointed remarks and side eyes exchanged as each woman delivered her arguments. Candace, well known for her bold conservative views and unapologetic delivery, immediately targeted Jasmine's recent voting history. Jasmine responded with her usual fire and facts, but when Candace suddenly pivoted the conversation and said, "Let's talk about what you don't want the public to know," everything changed. The audience leaned in. Jasmine's expression shifted from composed to shocked, as Candace pulled out a folder of supposed evidence and placed it on the desk in front of her. Candace claimed she had information that would call into question Jasmine's integrity as a lawmaker. She referenced a leaked internal email chain where, allegedly, Jasmine had made backdoor promises to corporate donors that contradicted her public stance. Jasmine, visibly stunned, interrupted immediately, saying the documents were fake. But Candace pushed ahead, reading selected lines from the papers, her tone steady and surgical. "You say you're for the people, but your deals tell a different story," she said. Jasmine's jaw tightened as she demanded to see the full documents, but Candace kept the spotlight by only reading cherry-picked phrases. The moderator tried to maintain order, but by then, the studio's atmosphere had transformed. Jasmine called the act a setup and accused Candace of staging a smear campaign. Her voice began to rise, her tone sharper, more intense. The words came fast and passionate. This was no longer about policy, it was personal. Without waiting for a reply, Jasmine tore into Candace with a level of ferocity few had seen on live television. "You're a puppet for billionaires and racists who bankroll your lies," she shouted, pointing directly at Candace. The crowd let out a collective gasp. Candace didn't flinch. She calmly replied, "Is that what you say when you're exposed? Call people names and hope it sticks." Jasmine stood up, almost knocking her neck loose. "You don't know me, you don't know my community, and you don't get to question my loyalty while parroting talking points from people who never cared about Black lives," she said, her voice shaking not from fear, but from fury. The moderator called for a break, but the broadcast continued. It was clear to everyone watching that this had become more than a debate. It was a war of principles, and both women were determined to finish it in front of the world. During the brief commercial cut, snippets of the exchange leaked online, and by the time the segment resumed, hashtags like #Crockett vs Candace and #ExposedOnLivet were already trending. When the show returned, Candace pulled out a second piece of evidence via a video clip showing a younger Jasmine in a private event allegedly endorsing a position she currently opposes. Jasmine looked furious, accusing Candace of editing and misrepresenting context. "You're desperate for a moment, and you're willing to lie to get it," she said. Candace calmly replied, "This is your voice, your face, and your truth, whether you like it or not." Jasmine threw her hands up and exclaimed, "I'm done playing nice. You want drama, you just got it." At this point, her frustration boiled over into shouting, and she began listing Candace's own controversial statements, bringing up past tweets and interviews. The studio erupted again as the two shouted over each other. Producers were seen signaling frantically behind the cameras, unsure whether to cut the segment or let it ride out. The ratings were skyrocketing by the second, but so was the chaos. Jasmine, in a move that shocked viewers, grabbed Candace's documents and ripped them in half on the desk, shouting, "This is trash and so is her credibility." Candace calmly stared at her and said, "Temper tantrums don't erase the facts." Jasmine pointed toward the camera, addressing viewers directly. "Don't fall for this mess. I stand on my record, not whatever fiction this lady cooked up to boost her brand." The moderator once again tried to regain control, but the damage was already done. The conversation had spiraled far beyond redemption. What started as a political discussion had exploded into a nationwide spectacle, a cultural showdown broadcast for all to see. The fallout was immediate. Within hours, clips from the segment were everywhere: YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. Each platform lit up with hot takes and reaction videos. Political influencers, podcasters, and commentators rushed to capitalize on the moment, offering their own spin on what had unfolded. Supporters of Jasmine Crockett hailed her as a hero who refused to be bullied, someone who defended her truth when ambushed. Meanwhile, Candace's fans applauded her for staying calm and revealing the truth. News networks replayed the most explosive clips on loop. Overnight, Jasmine Crockett's name went from Capitol Hill to front-page headlines, and Candace Owens basked in the glow of having stirred up a firestorm that had both sides buzzing. But neither of them had any intention of backing down. The next morning, Jasmine Crockett held a press conference. With a firm tone and a calm face, she declared that the documents presented by Candace Owens were deepfakes, doctored lies, and deliberate distractions. She went on to say, "I was set up on that stage, but I won't let my reputation be destroyed by clickbait conservatives." She vowed to launch a formal legal inquiry into how those materials were obtained and promised to press charges if any laws had been broken. Candace, of course, responded within minutes via a live stream titled "I Said What I Said." In it, she doubled down on her claims, stating, "Jasmine is only upset because she got caught. I exposed the receipts, and now she's running scared." The divide only deepened. Audiences were now deeply entrenched in this new political reality show, and both women leaned into the spotlight. In the days that followed, the media couldn't get enough. Late-night hosts mocked the chaos. Memes exploded across the internet, and pundits debated whether either woman had gone too far. Some said Jasmine's outburst was unprofessional and undermined her position. Others argued that her passion was justified, given the underhanded way the conversation was manipulated. Meanwhile, Candace's brand enjoyed a spike in visibility, with her podcast numbers reportedly doubling in downloads. The moment became symbolic of America's ever-dividing political landscape, where facts, feelings, and fire collide in public spaces, and where the line between information and entertainment is more blurred than ever. While both women defended their actions, they had also become unwilling avatars for the culture wars playing out across dinner tables and timelines. What was most fascinating was the aftermath in Congress. Jasmine Crockett received both criticism and solidarity from her colleagues. Some felt she should have walked off instead of exploding. Others praised her for standing her ground. Meanwhile, supporters flooded her office with messages of encouragement. Petitions circulated to have Candace Owens banned from major networks, while other petitions demanded that Jasmine apologize. It was chaos beyond the studio, echoing into government halls and digital spaces alike. But through it all, Jasmine maintained, "I don't regret standing up. I regret giving her the time of day." The comment further fueled Candace, who responded with a clipped, "She gave me the time, and I gave her the truth." Neither one was ready to stop the war of words. In the end, what started as a scheduled segment became a defining moment in modern political media. Jasmine Crockett and Candace Owens didn't just debate, they detonated. The clash showcased deep ideological divides and personal vendettas playing out in real time, leaving viewers to question whether truth still matters in a world driven by viral drama. The chaos, the confrontation, the exposure, every part of it lit a fire under a nation already weary of conflict but addicted to the spectacle. And whether you stood with Jasmine, backed Candace, or simply watched with disbelief, one thing was clear. This wasn't just a moment, it was a warning shot. Politics is no longer about policies alone. It's theater, it's conflict, and it's being broadcast live for all of us to witness, react to, and never forget.